Any kind of wacky thing we come up with that we want, they usually can figure out how to do it. What's really nice about it is that rather than me or Pat or anyone else spending a whole bunch of time trying to figure out how to get information out of the system, we can spend our time actually doing analysis that's value added. So my name's Ben Reynolds. I'm a business analyst for Alaffia. I've been there about a little over 2 years.
I'm Pat Heinz. I'm the financial controller here at Alaffia. I've been here about 2 years.
Alaffia is a company that provides personal care products like shampoos and soaps and lotions and things like that, where the raw materials are sourced from countries in like West Africa, where our founder is originally from. And our mission is helping the people in those countries that work with us by improving the job opportunities for them there.
We have a lot of real difficulties. Just getting things out of West Africa is challenging. We had a situation where we had a couple of containers held up in Belgium for an extended period of time, and it took a long time to get those here. And we're also not really ideally located for importing things from West Africa, because once it hits the US, it has to be trucked all the way across the country. So those issues, we have a lot of lead time issues, and that feeds into demand planning issues. You've got to have all the raw materials here to be able to hit the demand plan.
Yeah, sometimes we have to do some creative things like get things shipped here in different ways faster, so we can fulfill orders we have, things like that. It's been really challenging.
Yeah, we've had to actually air freight some stuff in from West Africa, which is really expensive. So we don't prefer to do that, but you have to weigh missing a sale versus paying extra for air shipment. So
the one that pretty much is used company-wide is when we call our sales analysis dashboard. And there are several tabs in it, and it just basically slices and dices our sales, by customer, product line. And so that one is the most widely used one. It's updated every night, so everyone can come in and see where we stand. And so people are in and out of that one all day long. We have an inventory dashboard that we use that shows us our supply, or we supply at hand and all that kind of stuff. But no, that gets used quite a bit.
We have one that we call OSCOT. It basically shows our fill rates, which is really useful. The AP report, we're using that quite a bit. On the sales analysis one of those tabs I use extensively through the month-end close process. It shows us by customer revenues, cost of sales, trade spend, margins, freight, in dollars and percentages, and then we can sort it and look for anomalies. If you've got a customer that's got some freight but no revenue, then we can go back to NetSuite, research what's going on there. If we have COGS that are either too high or too low based on the revenue, we can find out if something's missing or something was wrong there. And then that report also looks at the customer channels, so we can get a feel for which of the customer channels are providing the best revenue, the best margin, and things like that, and then which ones are costing us more in freight, which logistics-wise, that's become much more of an issue than it used to be.
Let me say this. There was an IT person that worked for us that created a bunch of dashboards in Power BI for us, and everybody was using that. The problem with that is he left, and when it had issues, no one knew how to correct them. So when I came on and found that was happening, we engaged them a lot more to build those for us. And that way the responsibility for them lies on them to keep it accurate and up to date all the time. They were connected to Power BI and NetSuite. They were making that connection for us when I got here, but we weren't using them as much for the development before I came on as we are now. We use Power BI for a lot of our analysis. In fact, almost all of it. They provide the connection between our main system, which is NetSuite, and Power BI. They make sure that the results are accurate and they tick and tie to all of our financials. We talk to them on a near daily basis, and we're always coming up with new, different ways that we want information sliced and diced, and they're always very prompt in getting back to us and helpful and creative on solving problems and creating solutions for us when we need them.
The thing that we really like out of Power BI is it gets to a lot greater granularity as far as sales by customer, sales by product type. NetSuite either doesn't have that readily available, or if they do, it's very cumbersome and hard to work with. Power BI, you can look at a screen and know exactly what you want to know real quickly. To me, that's the biggest benefit.
Yeah, and then sometimes can you guys add another filter on this page so we can filter by this or that? And they're always pretty quick to add things like that for us. So it makes it a lot faster to get to the data that you're trying to get to. I would say a very high frequency of that. It happens all the time where we'll add something onto an existing dashboard that they created for us. In fact, I think last week we just did some of that. So yeah, that's definitely common.
The biggest one for me is on the monthly close. If my margins aren't what they need to be, I can go to this particular report and see which customers are causing the problem, see if it's an error or if it's just something that's kind of priced out of our normal terms or whatever. But it really saves a lot of time and a sleuthing what's going on, and you can get to your answers very quickly just with a couple of clicks. So many opportunities for errors if you're pulling it to a spreadsheet and trying to slice it and dice it yourself, copy over something or miss something and get it in the wrong column. Whereas here, it's right there. You just look at it. Yeah, my prior life, I was doing a lot of spreadsheet work. Would have been nice to have known about this back then. Yeah, we've had quite a bit of customization work done. As our business evolves, we come up with new data points that we want to look at and new ways to analyze things. Power BI has been real helpful in responding to us when we get an idea of something we want to see, typically same day or next day at the latest. We've got a sample report to look at that gives us kind of what we want. We could probably pull it from NetSuite, but it would take a long time and a lot of work. Whereas with Power BI, you pull it up, click on a couple things to sort from highest to lowest or something like that. But, it takes minutes versus probably a couple hours. We had to pull it and sort it and do everything we needed to do out of NetSuite.
All the individuals that we've dealt with have been extremely responsive, nice to work with, extremely knowledgeable at what they do.
You kind of give them a general idea of what you're looking for, and then they'll be able to produce an example or two, and then you can kind of take it from there instead of us having to create everything in our mind and send it over to them. They've got enough knowledge and experience to kind of have a feeling for what it is we're looking at and be able to suggest some things.